All right, here's the video for lesson 8.01C, independent practice. Basically, what you need to do is the following. What we're gonna do is they gave us a scatter plot, as you can see in problem number 1, and they asking us to make a prediction of, now you have to read the story. So this is the story of a plant, the growth of a plant, new plant, in centimeters, and how many hours it takes or the plant is exposed to the sunlight on a daily basis. So basically you can see here the lines going up. The more exposed the plant is exposed to the sunlight, it grows more. All right, and this line here is called the line of best fit, and that's the trend line. Now they ask us here to find what will be the plant's total growth if it was exposed for 7 hours a day. So what you're gonna do, there's two ways you can do this. You can look at the x-axis, which is the hours exposed to sunlight. Find 7, you can see it's gonna be right here. And then you go straight up until you meet that blue line. And you're gonna see that it's around here. And I'm gonna look at the x-axis, the y-axis. And you can see that it's a little bit above 10. Now this mark in the middle is 11, so this mark right here is between 10 and 11, so that will be 10.5. But that's an estimate, or sometimes you don't read carefully the y values from the y-axis. So what I suggest is you take out your calculator, and you see this equation right here. It says y equal 1.5x. What you're gonna do, let me hide this, let me take this out of the way. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do 1.5 times x, see that parenthesis is the x, and they asked me to put for 7 hours. I'm gonna put here 7. And you can see I got 10.5, that I got the same thing when I was looking at the graph. See right there, that's 10.5, and that's where it will meet the line, the blue line, when the x is 7. So this here will be 10.5. So I suggest you better use the scientific calculator and you use the equation that was given to you that is of the blue line. So when I do my next problem, which is what I'm going to do next, problem number 2, see this black line is made by this equation. And this scatter plot is about the relationship of a person working to become a social influencer. And basically here, X is the number of posts the person is making in social media. And Y is the number of followers, okay? As you can see, as the person gets more or posts or make more posts on social media, it gets more followers. Okay, that's why you see that line going up from left to right. Now this line is the same thing as this equation, or this line can be made by this equation. Now they ask us here, how many times will the influencer need to post to get 70 new followers? So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to do the following here. We're gonna have to do a little math. So what we're gonna have to do is we need to find out. Okay, let me take a screenshot of this. So I took the screenshot, but the idea would have been, if it was possible, but it's not gonna be possible here. This number down here, the 70. That's the followers. I will be looking at the y-axis right here, all of this, okay? But the problem is that when I look for 70 on the y-axis, I don't have it. The largest number is 50. So I'm not going to be able to use the scatter plot to figure out this answer. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to use this equation, okay? And basically, the y is the number of followers. So I'm going to replace the y with 70 because that's what they asked me right there. Okay, so I'm going to replace the y with 70, and then I'm going to write the rest of my equation, 6,800x plus 16.3. not 6,000. It should be 6.800 plus 16.300. Okay, and then I'm going to have to solve this equation for x. This is a two-step equation. We learned this in the second quarter. So first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to subtract 6.300 on both sides of my equation. That's the first thing I'm going to have to do. I suggest you use your calculator here. So I'm going to, let me clear this up. So I'm going to subtract 70 minus 16.300. You can see I got 53.7. And then think of 700 equals 6.800x. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to solve for x is I want to get rid of this 6,800. That is multiplying, and the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So I'm going to divide by 6.800. Again, we learned about two steps equation in quarter number 2. If you forgot, then I suggest you go back and review a little bit about this. But I'm showing you the steps right now. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my answer, 53.7, and I'm going to divide it by 6.800 or 6.8. And you can see I got 7.897, a long decimal. But the instructions here says round to the nearest thousand. The thousand place is the third digit to the right of the decimal point. So 1, 2, 3. And that's where I'm going to be rounding. And to round, I'm going to look to the right. If the digit to the right is 5 or more, the 7 will go 1 up. If the digit to the right is not 5 or more, it stays the same. So the 7 is going to remain the same. So my final answer here is going to be 7.897. So this is what you're going to have to do to find how many polls it made. So basically what this is saying that this person has to post around 8 posts to get those 70 followers. Okay, so let me put the answer just to check I got it right. 7.897. I believe that was the answer that I got. Let me double check again. Yep. And let's check the answer. You can see I got it right. Okay. When we go to the next one, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. So here we have a scatter plot. This scatter plot is showing how the temperature outside affect the cricket to chirp. Okay. So the X is the temperature. So the X axis are the temperature. And the Y is the number of cricket chirps. You can see here based on the scatter plot. I know it's hard to see, but let me take a screenshot so you can see what I'm trying to show you. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the line of best fit using the eyeball method. Oh, why it didn't come out? It's not coming out. That's okay. I will do it by hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to let me make it bigger. That way maybe it comes out. No, it's not coming up. Something is happening with my... Okay, that's okay. So basically, I'm going to be... Oh, there it is. I'm going to be trying to draw a line. So it's using the eyeball method. I want to make sure that half of the points are above the line. Half of them are like kind of below the line. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dots. Okay. So I will make sure that I have like 5 on above and 4 below, or the other way around. 4 above, 5 below. So more or less, you can see the line is going up. So that means, what that really means, that the higher the temperature, as the temperature increases, the number of the cricket chirps also increases. And what they asked me was, if a cricket chirp 108 times, what will guess the temperature outside to be? So what do you think will be the temperature outside? So for the cricket to chirp, we're going to have to do something really similar like I show you the last exercise. I'm going to use this equation right here, where the y is the number of chirps, and I'm going to replace 108 for the y. So now I'm going to have an equation that I'm going to have to solve for x, okay? And basically, I'm going to have to solve this two-step equation like I show you in quarter number 2. So here I'm going to do the opposite of subtracting 65.22. So I'm going to add 65.22 on both ends. And I'm going to use my calculator to do the computation for me. So here is my calculator. So let me clear everything out. So this will be 108 plus 65.22. You can see I got 173.22. So 173.22 equal to 1.89x. Remember, these cancels out because if you add them, it will give you 0. And then my next step, in second step, is I'm going to divide both sides by 1.89 because that number, the 1.89, is multiplying. The opposite action is to divide. So let's divide 173.22, calculator again. So 173.22, I'm going to divide it by 1.89. And you can see I got 91. Now I need to find out how many decimal places they want. Let me see if they've said that. So I would say around 92. Doesn't say to round to anything. Yep. So I'm going to say around 90. Let's say if I put 92, what is going to show me? So let me click 92. Let's check the answer. If I got it wrong, let's see, what does it say? Okay, I did everything they told me there. So let's put in that, let me look at my answer again. Let's say it's 91. I'm going to round to the 1,000 place, like the last exercise. So 91.651. Let me do that. Let's see what happens. Check. Oops, I think I put in the wrong one. I was doing number 4. I skipped number 3 by accident. Let me see what was the correct answer. Oh, they wanted to round to 2 decimal places. So you can see I have it right here, but I put 3 decimal places, but that's okay. But you saw how I worked this problem out. The other problem, again, I skipped this one by accident, question number 3. Okay, so here we have a scatter plot. This is the story of a cafe that tracks the temperature outside and the sales of hot beverages like coffee, hot chocolate for 12 days. And you can see that the higher the temperature, because the X is the temperature outside the cafe, the higher the temperature, you can see based on the scatter plot on the line, they sell less hot beverages. Okay, and they're asking you what will be how many hot beverages will be sold if the temperature was 21 degrees outside. Now here, what I'm gonna do is 21. 21 will be right here, and if I go straight up, I'm gonna be right on this place on the line, and I go to the left, you're gonna see it's gonna be like 90.5. Okay, based on what I'm reading on the y-axis. But the most precise way is using this equation and plug in 21 for the x, and that's what I'm going to do with my calculator. Let me clear everything out. Okay, so let's put here negative 1.89 times, I'm going to put an empty parenthesis, that's the x, plus 130.9. And my x is 21 because that's what they asked me to find. And you can see I got 91.21. I said 90.5, so I was a little bit off. Again, because I'm using the scatter plot. So see, I find 21 on the x-axis. I will go straight up right here, and then I go to the side. See, I will get like 90.5, but if I use the equation, that's going to be more precise. Looking at the scatter plot is like an estimate. So I'm going to put 91.21 here in my answer, right here. Let's see what the Canvas says. Okay. Okay, it didn't come out correct. Let me go to my calculator one more time. Maybe I put something wrong, so I'm gonna look again. So negative 1.81, 130. Oh, I put 0.9, it was 0.09, so 90.4. So I was pretty close when I said 90.5. So 90.4, there we go. And we're gonna check. Okay, you can see I got it right. So just warning, question number 4, round to 2 decimal places instead of 3 like I did. And that's it. That's how you do this assignment.